Hey, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. Andy here. As you can clearly see, usually this time of year, this is what I wear because my team's usually eliminated from the playoffs. But this year's a different story. The Washington Commanders won their playoff game, the wild card playoff game last week, and we're moving on. Probably not for long, though. We're playing the Lions. We'll get into that later. Tim's back with us. Welcome back. You've been a while since you've been on the show.
Yep, I'm back.
Where you been?
Been away, man. No, just work.
Been busy.
Just work.
Busy betting and losing.
Betting and losing. Yep.
All right, so we'll jump right into last week. We'll go over the games here real quick. We had wild card weekend last week that started off with the Chargers and the Texans on Saturday. I didn't expect this game to go like this at all. Though when they showed the Justin Herbert stats of his playoff appearances, I wasn't surprised. The man can't win a playoff game worth his life, to save his life. And the Texans defense was all over the Chargers. I thought the Rams on the Vikings was bad, which it was. But this might have been up there as well with embarrassing. What did Herbert throw? 4? Did he throw 3 interceptions? 4? How many did he throw?
Quite a few.
Can you imagine the person that bet just on a whim, like $1 or like $5 that he'd throw like that? Can you even bet that he would throw that many interceptions? Is that an option?
Yeah, I'm sure you can get a prop bet somewhere.
I'd like to know the odds on that and see what that was.
But
that'd be something I would do.
Right. Yeah, I think, obviously surprised that the Chargers only put up that many points, but I'm even more surprised that the Texans look decent. I think
they looked all right.
Out of the 14 teams that made the playoffs, the Texans, in my mind, were the weakest team, and I thought that they had the first out. But you're very wrong.
Maybe Pittsburgh. Well, Pittsburgh's got a really good defense, but
Pittsburgh's that team that started the year off amazing, and then just couldn't beat anybody. So
it was.
They were gone too. Another team that meets that, and I know a lot of people don't agree, is the Vikings. I've been saying since week 3 or 4 that the Vikings are fake, and here we go. Sam Darnold, that was atrocious. He needs to be cut. That offensive line, all of them need to find a new home. That was bad.
The Week 18 game, I was kind of like, maybe Tim's right, but I didn't want to admit it. Because obviously they lost to Detroit Week 18, and they became the 5-seed wild card game.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I think they're going to redeem themselves. The Rams are a good team, but at the same time, I also still thought the Vikings were a good team. And boy, was I wrong.
Yeah. What did they go? 14-3. They went 14-3 with smoke and mirrors, man. Smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. That would have been like me being the number 1 performer on our old team when we worked together.
Smoke and mirrors, baby. Anyways, it can happen, but it doesn't last long.
Yes.
You know what the Vikings are like? It just came to my mind.
Fruit stripe gum.
Fruit stripe gum.
Is that what you were going to say?
100%. Yep.
Well, at least we're on the same page. We were on the same page with this game. We both thought Chargers, but we were horribly wrong. Obviously, Houston won that game. And then the next game was another pretty bad game for Pittsburgh, at least. Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Baltimore. I'm not sighing towards Baltimore. They looked great. Derrick Henry looked amazing. Lamar Jackson barely had to throw the ball. They rushed more times than Lamar Jackson threw the ball. I think he only threw the ball it was under 20 attempts, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head.
It was just a complete dominating performance. In the first half, the Ravens had 19 first downs and the Steelers had 2.
Yeah. Of all the teams that were I wasn't surprised they made the playoffs, but I was surprised they made the playoffs. Pittsburgh was one of them because of the way they had been playing the past 3 or 4 weeks. They were going into the wild card game with a 4-game losing streak, I think.
Yep.
And I did expect them, because playoff football is different than regular season football. I thought if any of these teams had a chance of showing up, it was going to be Pittsburgh's defense.
Mm-hmm.
But 55 rushes later from the Ravens, 55, even with a quarterback and a halfback combined. That's insane.
They couldn't stop.
What did Henry rush for? 140?
It was a bit. I was more surprised with the number of rushes, like you said. I mean, they just couldn't stop. Pittsburgh just couldn't stop anybody. And
It was like a game of
yeah,
Madden.
yeah, yeah. It was
Like the
ugly,
other person just keeps running it and running it and running it, while the other person who's played Madden once can't stop the ball at all.
right? And during
Yeah.
the game, there was a lot of people on social media calling talking about how bad the refs are and oh, they missed
Oh,
this
jeez.
holding play. Let me tell you something, okay? All of those, you could go back and replay that game and give them all of those flags. They were still going to get beat. It was a
Yeah, they would.
dominating
Yeah.
performance. This is like 10 years ago with Deflategate. And everybody's complaining, oh, Tom Brady took a pound of air out of the ball. Oh, look out. That game in question that we beat the Colts, the final score of that game was something like 54-14. The man
Yeah.
could have played the game with a brick instead of a football and still won the game. And the one
Prick.
the one push off, everybody's talking about the push off on Pickens or the pass interference on Pickens. It was absolutely pass interference. His whole arm extended. His whole arm extended. That's pass interference. You can't do that.
Talk about a player who was on cloud nine in the middle of the season and just absolutely ended up in the basement. He
Yeah.
ain't in the basement. He's underground.
He's down there.
He ain't. And the Steelers are talking about bringing Russell Wilson back. What are you going to bring him back for? What's he
I
going to
mean,
do?
he did have a good year.
Yeah, but he
Just the
looked.
team kind of fell
What are they going to?
apart in
So what are they going
December.
to do? Start hot again, then fall apart again, and make it to the playoffs and lose again? Probably. It's probably what will happen.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, this is a clear cut case where it's not anybody's specific fault. It's a team fault, and
Hmm.
they looked under enthused. Like they didn't look like they were happy to be there. Like they knew what was going to happen, and they were just like, get it over with. I mean, every time they cut to Mike Tomlin on the sideline, the man's like this.
Well, that's his go-to look. You know that.
It is, but show some emotion, man. Like
Yeah.
even when the big plays happened, if they had any, or something decent happened for the Steelers, and they would cut to one like a player or like Russell Wilson, finally completed a pass, and they cut to him, and he just like, and then they're calling plays in the huddle, and he's just
Hmm.
like it didn't look it looked like me out there tired.
Yeah. I mean,
Like what's going
the
on? And
Ravens were a tough draw for them for the first round,
yeah,
obviously. I mean, I think
well,
the
they should have won their
Ravens,
last game.
true. I mean, I think the Ravens are in that group of probably just three teams that I think can win the Super Bowl. I
Yeah,
think
I
they're
said
they're in there.
they were one of my picks at the beginning of the season. Before you and I even spoke about any possible team, I thought for sure once they signed Derrick Henry, I was like,
Mhm.
man, that's dangerous. Like if they get everything clicking in a certain amount of game or the right game or get on a win streak, like that's going to be dangerous. Then they had the problems with the defense,
Mhm.
but they fixed that and the defense looks great. I mean, the
Yeah.
run defense has always been really well, but the secondary looks great. They finally got their heads out of their what's,
Yep.
and
They're
I
gonna
definitely think they could make a run. Yeah.
they're gonna need it because I mean they got to get past Buffalo and then
Hmm.
potentially Kansas City. So.
Yeah. Next game up was Denver at Buffalo for the wild card weekend. This was on Sunday. This was the 1 o'clock game. How about that bomb from Bo Nix to start the game off?
Mhm.
That happened, and I had a sliver of hope, and that's when we laid our bet down
Mhm.
for some
Yeah,
Wendy's and
you were
$5.
you were
And
real quick to text me and trying to get on the Denver
well,
bet.
that's how I roll. It's how I bet. I see something good happen, and I'm like, yeah, do that.
That was
And
a
it's
che-
always
that
wrong.
was a cheap bet because honestly, I didn't even see that they were down 7-0. I'm like, okay, I'll take this bet. And then I go over and look at the game and shoot, the Bills are already down 7-0. But hey, no fear,
Yeah.
no fear. They just ran right over them after that. But hey,
Yeah,
the
it was
Broncos
it
had a
was
really good year. I mean, no, I don't think anybody
they
expected the
did.
Broncos to be there. So.
They did, and now they don't have to worry about quarterback for a while. That's one of the most important positions. You got that down.
Mhm.
Bo Nix is going to be, if not average, at least above average a little bit. I see him as like an Eli Manning, like one of those quarterbacks where you're like, wow, he actually accomplished that.
I don't know.
Maybe a little less talented, but like
I was
I
going to
don't
go
know.
the other way because I think I've seen Bo
I
Nix
don't.
throw the ball. Bo Nix can actually throw the ball.
Yeah, but I feel like Eli always had, even though Eli had those dumb expressions on his face half the time, he's smart. And I feel like, I mean, maybe it's just because Bo Nix is a rookie, and some of the passes he makes, you're like, I wouldn't even make that throw. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
same goes for who threw. I can't remember if it was the wild card game or not. I don't think it was. It might have actually been Bo Nix in a previous game. No, I'm sorry. It was Baker in the Commanders game. I think he threw across his body and like back across the field at one point.
Mm-hmm.
It might not have been the wild card game. Anyways, nonetheless, just a dumb throw, and you're like, man, that's like something I would do in Madden,
Yeah.
where I'm like running the ball and I'm just smashing a button, hoping it completes to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, maybe that'll change with time.
Yeah, it's
And
just his first year, so
yeah, I mean, you're not going to beat Josh Allen at home, so
right. Yeah.
yeah. But the next game up, this one kind of surprised me. A lot of people were picking this game as an upset. Oh, by the way, we both picked the Ravens and we both picked the Bills, so we got wins there. I thought me, along with a lot of other people, thought this game was going to be more competitive than it was, and it was kind of the opposite of the competitive way it went. I thought the Eagles were going to be an offensive juggernaut, and they weren't for once. Their defense actually showed up. On the kickoff, they forced a fumble, right? If I'm not right, and the dude got popped. I forget who tackled him.
Yeah.
But what a way to start a game! Like momentum, you're not going to lose the momentum from that. And I feel like ever since that very first play, Green Bay didn't have a chance. And Jordan Love looked like
he couldn't do anything out
trash.
there. Yeah.
He looked like trash. And put him in the garbage can, tie him up, take him to the dump.
Yep.
Like
I was kind of surprised by that.
I was too. I thought it was going to be more. That's what I thought it was going to be competitive. I was saying at least a shootout, like at least pass like a big passing game from both of the quarterbacks. I mean, Jalen Hurts can throw the ball. He's not the best thrower, more known for running, but at least he's got a lot of weapons to throw too. And AJ Brown, what did he have? 5 reception yards or something like that, or 10 or something like that.
Yeah, they weren't going to him.
Man's reading a book on the sideline.
He was reading a book. I heard that book is now like on the bestseller list. People are going out and buying it.
Oh yeah. Hey, at least the only thing good came from it for the for the Eagles. I mean, they got to win too.
Yeah.
And we both got that right. So they'll move on to the division games coming up next weekend. And then my favorite game of the weekend, the Commanders and the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
This was the most competitive game of Wild Card Weekend. Every other game was kind of a blowout, if you want to call it that. This one came down to the wire. I think they're going to call it. I think they're calling it the doink.
Mm-hmm.
The doink that moved them on to the divisional game. I'm not gonna lie. I closed my eyes when Gonzalez kicked the field goal. I closed them and I kind of squinted a little bit, and people were running from Washington and cheering. So I assumed it went there. And then I saw the replay and that it hit the crossbar or the upright, and I was like, man, I'm glad I didn't watch. I would have had a heart attack.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good game.
Both teams looked really good though.
Yeah,
except for Baker's blunder in the end there where he fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
But I mean, mistakes happen. I knew this was going to be the game where the team that made the most mistakes was going to be the loser on the losing end. Because I would say I would put Tampa Bay as the more talented team here, probably offensively.
Yeah.
I think it's not really a question. Just you got Mike Evans, you got Bucky Irving, really good rookie. Baker's having an awesome season. I mean, when Chris Godwin's healthy, he's on the other side there receiving. Otton's been pretty decent at tight end. They have a lot. McMillan has had a really good rookie season. A lot of promise. They shouldn't be. I mean, upset that they lost the game, but they definitely have a bright future.
Yeah.
And Washington looked decent too. Jaden does it again.
Yep. I think it might run out this week, but hey, anything can happen.
We'll get into that. All right. So are we even going to talk about the Monday night game? Is it worth talking about?
No, it was gross.
All right. Vikings lost to the Rams. Oh, by the way, I got the Washington game right. You did not.
Okay. Nobody cares about that. But I do want to say I saw a really nice meme on, I don't know where it was, TikTok or something, talking about Sam Darnold. And it's like this guy comes on and he's got this like excited voice. He's like, top 5 quarterbacks that are better than Sam Darnold in the playoffs. Number 1, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Number 2, a Maytag dishwasher. Number 3, and they list like I think it's like Kevin Garnett. It's like
Icebox from the Little
it
Giants.
was great. It was great. I mean, and then they show clips of the offensive line just breaking down. I mean, they're just getting pushed over. They're like dominoes out there. It was bad.
9 sacks. I think Los Angeles had 9 sacks, something like that. They tied the record. It was nuts.
They came to play.
Yeah, I don't think Darnold's not going to be a Viking next year. I definitely don't think.
Well, they were talking about, dealing him and how his trade value, or sorry, his like the market that he was going to command was going to be like $200 million for his contract. I don't understand that. Who's giving him that?
Either.
Who is giving him that? I mean, come
ridiculous.
on.
The teams that need quarterbacks ain't giving him that.
It better
one
not
of them
be
is the Saints, and they're about negative $60 million in the hole.
Yeah, it better not be the Patriots. Do not go get him. Bobby Kraft, if you're listening.
I don't think so. You guys are Drake, man. You'll be all right.
Okay.
All right, when we come back to the Coach's Corner, we'll get into the divisional round games that are coming up this weekend. Hey, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. I'm Andy. I got Tim here with me. We are in divisional we are in the divisional round of NFL playoff games. There we go. I could have said that. It's divisional week. Let's just say that. That's stupid too. Divisional week.
It's a playoff week. It's a playoff week.
Yes. Teams are playing for their division this week. We have a lot of great games coming up Saturday and Sunday. 4:30 on Saturday and 8 o'clock on Saturday as well. Then we got a 3 and a 6:30 on Sunday. The first game up on at 4:30 is a good one. The Texans and the Chiefs, and they're in Kansas City. Oh, and to give everybody a rundown, I am winning the playoff race that we have right now. I have 4 wins. Tim only has 3. Anyways, I wish people could see the look you're giving me right now. But anyways, Houston and Kansas City. A lot of people are picking Houston here. What do you think?
Well, a lot of people are going to be wrong. So
you think?
I know. Kansas City. Look,
they haven't played since Christmas.
I don't care if they didn't play since last Easter. Okay, the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and let me tell you what. Do they look, slightly worse than last year? Yeah, they do. Are their numbers down year over year? Yes, they are. But they're still the Chiefs. You don't mess with the Chiefs. This is going to be a tough out.
No, you don't mess with Texas.
Okay, well, they're going to mess with Houston, and it's going to be ugly. Give me the Chiefs by double digits.
Okay.
I do not think the Chiefs are going to be your Super Bowl champion. However, they're going to be a real tough out for somebody.
So you
promise you that.
Are you going to fill us in who you think's going to beat them?
Well, yeah, when we get there next week.
Okay.
Honestly,
I'm torn between this one. I want to take Houston because I want to look really smart when they pull off the upset. But
you should take Houston. In fact, I'll give you Houston in 3 points if you take Houston.
Deal.
Done. That's the easiest win I ever got. Next.
We'll see. You also say that a lot when you bet.
The CJ Stroud that you've seen in October and November will be the CJ Stroud you see in Kansas City.
I don't think CJ Stroud's going to be the deciding factor of winning the game.
He's going to be why they lose it.
I mean, possibly. But there's a slighter chance he's the reason they lose it than he's the reason they win it. Wait, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think that if the defense plays like they did last week against the Chargers, it can get close. It can get close, and there's a possibility. If you get Joe Mixon going, mixing it up. I was never a Joe Mixon fan, but when he became the Texan, I kind of like him. I don't know why. I didn't like him on the Bengals for some reason.
Yeah,
but I like him here. All right, it'll be good. It'll be close. I think if your pick does win, it will be a close game. But we'll have to wait and see. So you got Chiefs by double digits, and I spelled Chiefs wrong. I got Houston with 3 points. Okay, all right, 3 points, so we don't forget it. All right. The next game up is the 8 o'clock game. The Commandos versus the Kitty Cats, the Lions. I know who you're picking here. I know.
I mean, I would like to see the Skins win.
I want to see them win, but
I do want to see the Skins win.
And what has been the outcome especially in wild card weekend. I want to see them win, but they're not going to win. What happened?
Okay, I didn't say that last week.
Well, whatever week you said it, they won.
I am saying it this week. I do want to see them win, but they're not going to win. The Lions are just going to roll here if they unleash that offense. I am not sure that the Skins can keep up with that.
Okay, you say so.
Who you taking?
You know who I'm taking.
I want everybody out there to hear you pick against your team.
My team. I'm not picking against them. I'm picking them.
Oh, another free win. All right.
My team made it to the playoffs on a year where they were expected to get 4 or 5 wins. They got, I don't know how many. I lost track how many they've had. 12, 13, 25, 60?
At least 23. Yeah.
The least I can do is show them a little respect and pick them to win a game. It's not going to matter if they lose here because it's just going to be tied after Houston beats Kansas City. So if
you just gave me 2 free wins, and I already have my sleeper coming up.
Whatever. Your sleeper's probably wrong, so I'm probably going to get something right. All right, I got Washington. Tim's got Detroit. It's going to be, nonetheless, it is going to be good. I think it's going to be a good game. I am a little scared of what Jahmyr Gibbs is going to do. Our run defense isn't the greatest when they get past the front linemen, like the defensive linemen, and get into like the linebacker area in the secondary. Kind of stink at making the tackle.
But so just doing basic football things.
Basically.
Yeah.
You can't deny it, though. They have improved over the season. The Commanders' defense
that's not in question here. That's not in question.
But you got to think, who's under center? Who is that? Who is that?
Who we talking about?
Does Jared Goff make the Lions look? Does Jared Goff make the Lions look good, or do the Lions make Jared Goff look good?
I think a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both, but I see what you're saying. Here. They have a lot of weapons. You're right.
If, a medium-sized if, the Lions win, it's going to be because of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Right? I see Jared Goff attempting 14 passes.
No.
He's going to have one of those dumb 14 for 14, and you're going to praise him like he's the second coming of Jesus.
I've never said
he's
that.
100%. He went 14. You gotta be. That's really good. He threw the ball 14 times. I could throw the ball 14 times and complete it.
Let's not get bitter.
Dumping it off to Jahmyr Gibbs. I can look to my right and toss it real quick and then get tackled.
Your team didn't lose yet, okay? So don't be bitter yet. You can be bitter in a couple days. Let it just.
I'm not gonna be bitter.
You're gonna be very bitter.
You're gonna see the second coming of a savior, but it's gonna be the savior of Washington. JD5, baby.
Okay, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. All right, next game.
It's gonna be fun. I hope it's competitive for Detroit's sake. The Rams at Philly. Is this your upset special?
This is the upset special. Anybody who's listening, get yourself on the Rams.
It's not an upset.
The Rams are absolutely an upset.
Is it just an upset because the Rams are a lower seed or a what? What are they? A 6 seed, 5 seed?
Well, they're a lower
Philly's
seed.
A 1?
They're a lower seed. They have to go to Philadelphia, and Vegas says they're an underdog. So I'm telling you, the Rams are the pick of the week.
I agree with you because Matt Stafford's been here.
Too many weapons.
Jalen Hurts has as well. And Jalen Hurts has won a Super Bowl as well. Two very good game situation quarterbacks going into this matchup. They know what to do with the ball. They usually don't make stupid mistakes. But if Philly's offense doesn't show up again, the Rams defense is. I mean, I know they played the Vikings, but the Rams defense looks good. Jared Verse, the rookie, the dude that picked up the fumble and ran that back, he's been a beast.
They're riding
Defensive
on a high.
Rookie of the Year.
They're riding on a high coming into this game.
That's what you need. Yeah, I agree.
And,
I'm picking the Rams too. You don't have to describe yourself too much to me. I get it.
My overall prediction for the NFC.
Yeah.
When the Rams win this one, they're going to go to the NFC Championship and give the Lions all they want. And I'm telling you, that's going to be one of the greatest shootouts of our time. I'm telling you, put me down as prediction. Okay. That game's going to be like 38-34.
Okay.
Lions.
Wait. Oh, that game. Okay. You're not talking about this week. All right. Yeah, we're both taking the Rams here, even though it's in Philly. Philly's the favorite. Philly's got Philly on both sides of the ball. Excellent team. But at
Yeah.
the same time, we saw last week against the Green Bay team, who, yeah, while their defense is all right, their the offense didn't do anything. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was crazy. The defense definitely won that game. So this could be a big defensive game too. That would be fun to watch. I mean,
Could be.
boring to the person who doesn't watch football regularly, but to football fans that actually enjoy the game, it
Mm-hmm.
could be exciting.
Right.
I wouldn't bet on this one though. That's for sure. I definitely wouldn't throw anything down on this game because it's hard to tell what's going to happen.
Mm-mm.
And if you are betting, you should bet the Commanders because probably got crazy odds to win. And when they do win, you'll be a millionaire.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, next game, Baltimore and Buffalo, 6:30. I'll let you start.
Okay, good, because I have an important announcement about the game we
Jeez.
just talked about. So don't say shh. Okay, listen. Anybody out there who is thinking about betting on the Commanders money line just to win, what you want to do, okay? Here's what you want to do. Step 1, get the money that you are going to bet on the Commanders.
And
Step
don't bet
2,
it.
get in your car. Okay, step 3, go to the nearest highway. Speed up to the speed limit, roll down your window, and just let it flip out the window because you'll have more fun doing that, okay, than betting the Skins money
All
line.
right, all right, all right. All right, let's focus on the game. Baltimore, Buffalo. Go.
Yeah, this is probably going to be game of the week, and I really don't know who to pick. Honestly,
It's tough.
I think the winner of this game, is your Super Bowl champion. So, with
Fair.
that being said, I guess give me the Ravens, but I'm not confident.
Ooh. Okay. Now I'm taking the Bills here. The reason I'm taking the Bills, number one, Josh Allen is a different player in the playoffs. No, he hasn't won the big game yet, but
Yep.
I would take Josh Allen over Lamar Jackson in a playoff game like this at this moment, this season at least. Lamar Jackson's having a great season, but so is Josh Allen. That Buffalo Bills team is a different team than the last time they got beat by the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
They have, I mean, they're 8-0 at home. They haven't lost a game in their stadium yet.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore is known to play down to their teams as the season they played games during the season. But I mean, that's not the case here. But who's to say a game like that doesn't happen? You know what I mean? If Baltimore gets Derrick Henry going and Lamar Jackson going again, it's not going to be a 55 rushing attempt game, obviously. But I'm more confident in Lamar Jackson rushing against the Bills than I am him throwing against the Bills.
Yeah.
I don't know. But if Derrick Henry's popping off 150 yards, why do you need him to throw? I don't know. This one was tough, but the only reason I'm taking Buffalo is because it's in Buffalo. If this was in Baltimore, I would probably take Baltimore.
I think they're both good choices. This is another game I'm not touching as far as money line or taking points. I'm not comfortable. I can see either of these teams winning. I think these two teams and the Detroit Lions are the three teams that have a chance to win the Super Bowl, realistically, in my mind. And then the fourth team on the outside looking in would be the Chiefs, because you just can't count them out. They're not the caliber of these other teams on paper, but paper doesn't matter when you got Patty Mahomes and they're two-time Super Bowl champions. So back to back. So I'm not counting the Chiefs out, but I think the winner of this game is your Super Bowl champion.
And obviously, I'm going to say what everybody's thinking. Regardless of who wins these games this weekend, we've got great games coming up. I don't think there's a team in the playoffs that people probably don't enjoy watching. There's always that one team where you're like, eh. And I felt like this year, Green Bay and Minnesota may have been those two teams. Maybe
I wouldn't say Green Bay. I would say the Texans. And they're still lingering around. They're still lingering around like a bag of trash that needs to be taken out, and it kind of stinks a little bit.
They were just holding back.
Okay?
It stinks a little bit.
Because like when the trash needs to go out and you're just being lazy, and you're like, nah, I'm taking that out right now. So now you got to deal with a little bit of stink when you walk in the kitchen. That's what the Houston Texans are. The other 7 teams are fine.
Oh, wait. So the Commanders aren't with the stink?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll have to see how everything plays out. But nonetheless, like I said, it's going to be interesting.